Hi, welcome to Rivetea. Welcome back if you've been here before. I am Longhair Linda, and today we are going to be talking about season 2, episode 5 already of Love and Marriage DC. This one is called Street Fighters, so let's get into it. So the episode kicks off right where we left off last week, with the Tylers arriving at Brittany Tyler's home as Lil Jamie is inside. After an awkward hello between Jamie and Lil Jamie, Mama T, Lil Jamie and Brittany's grandmother, asks Lil Jamie why they are here. I wrote where they are here, I don't know why. Lil Jamie says, I don't know, as Brittany makes herself a drink. As she comes over and sits down, Brittany says, Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today because I am tired. I just love her. I really think Brittany should be a castmate, low-key. I mean, she doesn't need to be. She's part of the Tyler family. But you know what I mean. She's great to watch. And I think she's taking control of this situation very, very well. She goes on to say that she wants the family to put it all on the table. And she says they can leave if they don't want to. Jamie acknowledges that he and Erana share some of the blame for what's going on now with Lil Jamie. And I felt that, woo, look at God, that Brittany let out. I felt it in my spirit. Come on, growth. Let's go, Jamie. Brittany thanks Jamie for taking accountability, and Jamie wants little Jamie to do the same, while Erana asks Lil Jamie what they can do to help him. Lil Jamie wants a job and doesn't know what he actually wants to do though, and Mama T wants him to take responsibility for his own life, as Lil Jamie tells us in his confessional that he was quiet because he was blindsided and overwhelmed. Jamie breaks down as he tells Lil Jamie that he needs to do something for himself while trying to make his family around him proud while they're still here. And Mama T also starts to cry, saying she worries about Lil Jamie. Erana brings up the concerning text from Lil Jamie regarding his mental health and says that she is also tired of the roller coaster between Jamie and Lil Jamie. She needs Lil Jamie to talk and say what's on his mind. Before he can do that, Jamie speaks and suggests that getting professional help together might be the right thing to do, but says it's an ultimatum: help or move out and go live with your girlfriend. Now this delivery, Jamie, this delivery. Lil Jamie says he doesn't need to talk to anybody, and when Jamie says it's not about him, Lil Jamie says it is, and he'll always be the bad one. Lil Jamie walks away saying that he needs some space, but he's still giving himself a hard time while he sat alone on the stairs. Now I just want to say I'm no licensed therapist, and I'm not in any way trying to diagnose Lil Jamie, but let's just say I can recognize a shame spiral when I see one. I know this from my own experience, so I hope that it's not just me projecting, but I know the feeling of being stuck in a shame spiral, in the sense that you are going through something, let's say, things aren't necessarily going your way, and you react in not the best way possible, but then you find yourself continuously reacting in that same way, and it now just starts to be the frustration of the thing not working out, but also the guilt and shame about how you're reacting to certain things and how you're dealing it and maybe not handling it very well. And you're just repeating this cycle over and over again until you convince yourself that you are the problem, there's something wrong with you, and you just want to get away from it all. That's what it kind of looks like to me. And again, I'm not a therapist. I'm not trying to diagnose anybody here, especially not Lil Jamie. He's going through something very serious. And so I would hate to be that type of person that will do that. But I just wanted to, say, for anybody, watching this and relating to the idea of a shame spiral, that you are not alone. Believe me, you are not alone. And there are tools that can help you get out of it. But it's really recommended that you speak to somebody, because a therapist can not only listen to you from a sort of stranger, third-party, non-biased standpoint, but can also help equip you with some tools to be able to dig yourself out. It's not going to be easy digging yourself out of anything like that, but you're not alone. It's not just you. And shame in the end doesn't really do too much when you are constantly beating yourself up by way of helping you or helping your situation. So I just wanted to get that out there, because I recognize some of that behavior, and I relate to it, and I just hope that anybody watching this hears that. Also, if you are just watching the recaps, because I know some people do, I've done that before, watch a recap without actually watching the episode sometimes, I would highly recommend you watch the episode, because there are some scenes that come up later with the therapist, Dr. Cunningham, and he is fantastic, and I hope that so many people hear what he has to say to both Jamie and Lil Jamie. But I'm getting ahead of myself. In his confessional, Lil Jamie says that they have told him how bad he is and how much of a problem child he is, so he hears them. He just wants them to let him go. Brittany walks over to where Lil Jamie's sitting on the stairs and starts to break down, telling Lil Jamie to stop centering himself. It's about all of them. She tells him it's a slap in the face when he shuts down like this, that nobody is attacking him, they're just trying to talk to him and trying to help him so that he can see where they're coming from. Jamie adds that he has stuff going on with him too, and wants to talk to psychiatrists to learn how to approach Lil Jamie better. Brittany asks Lil Jamie again if he would be open to counselling, and Lil Jamie thankfully says yes. In his confessional, Lil Jamie says what changed his mind was that the therapy wasn't just for him, it was for them. This was a very, very emotional scene, and I am just so happy for them. I'm very proud of all of them. I love how Brittany took charge of the situation and just said, we need to actually speak about this as a family, rather than arguing back and forth and people speaking to these people and not speaking to these other people. I love the approach by Brittany. Very direct, but still very tactful, and showing that she and the rest of the family do care about Lil Jamie, and it's not about just telling him that he's a screw up or whatever, you know. So it was a really emotional scene. I really, really enjoyed that scene, and I'm so proud of everybody for listening to each other, for one. That was great. Winter is looking for a venue for her romancipation. She says that it's a modernized divorce party in celebration of love and being free. Her and her brand manager are being shown round by, I guess, the venue manager person as Sherell arrives. Winter reveals to Sherell that she wants her to invite the other ladies to the event, but the way she goes about it is through asking Sherell to invite her football team. Winter tells us in her confessional that she wants the football team there because she feels like they need one event where they can all let their hair down, aka she needs the castmates to go to her event so that people can talk about it, and it's actually a big deal because her castmates will be there rather than just Winter throwing an event. I was going to say a nonsense event, but even that's too mean, isn't it? I'm taking it too far. Is it obvious that I'm not a fan of Winter being on this show? Is it clear? I'm trying really hard to be non-biased, but So the other ladies walk away, the brand manager and the, I guess, venue manager, and Sherell suggests that Winter has a one-on-one conversation with Ashley first. Sherell is confident that they can come together because they are both successful mothers, etc., etc., but Winter says she just wants everyone to be adults. Yes, like you, making up nicknames for people. Very adult thing to do. Sherell tells Winter about Erana bringing a bone back about Joi and her comments about her husband, and Winter says, and I'm the messy one. Yes, sis, you are. Just because somebody else had a messy moment doesn't take away from how messy you are. And Ashley and Quicks, the two of them are praising each other in a super adorable way. Ashley is proud of Quick for the street that he has that's about to be named after him, the Quicksilver Way. Not the Quicksilver Way, it's just Quicksilver Way. And Quick is proud of Ashley's new book and how raw she is being about everything that she has been through. Quick says he's a little upset with her though because she didn't tell him that Antonio, their son, was suspended from school. Ashley says that he should have never been suspended because someone took his jacket and he went and took it back. Now that didn't sound like the full story. That's what I was thinking in this moment. I'm like, that can't be the full story. Sure enough, Quick mentions that he's worried that this is how it starts and likens the situation to Lil Jamie, saying that he's sure that Lil Jamie was once a good kid. He just wants Antonio to stay on the right path. So he summons Antonio downstairs and Quick wants to know what happened from him. Antonio says he was suspended because he left his jacket on the table and then it went missing. He found out at lunch that someone took it, so he goes to the other boy's class and calls him out, snatches his bag, and ends up fighting with him in the hallway. That sounds like more of the reason why you were suspended. Not the jacket, it's the fighting. Quick wants Antonio to think about how much worse this could have been by giving the example of what if there were guns or drugs in the other boy's bag, and he said Antonio put them there. Just like that, his parents get a call that he's been locked up. Quick wants Antonio to be mindful even when defending himself. Now, yes, definitely the point is clear. Yes, I agree that Antonio needed to be more mindful even when he was defending himself. That was an extreme case. Now, I know that they live in Baltimore, and I know that Baltimore has a history of not being the safest of places all the time. Not to throw any shade on the city at all. I've heard it is a great city. That's a very extreme example to use for this, in my opinion, but I don't know. Okay. Anyway, Quick tells us in his confessional that everybody is one decision away from completely changing the direction of their life, good or bad. That's 100% true. Just one decision can really change the trajectory of your life, your well-being. So yeah, his point. I get his point. Ashley lightens the mood by asking Antonio why they don't have a special handshake like him and his dad, and suggests that they make one up now. Antonio is like, you can't force it. And Quick makes fun of Ashley for thinking she's a cool mum. Ashley asks if he thinks that he's a cool dad, and Quick says, ask my son, to which Antonio says, yeah, aight. Also trying not to get in more trouble, I see. Very smart young man. Quick tells Antonio that he loves him, and they go to do their special handshake, but they mess it up. You're cool, huh? Alright, super cool. Sherell and Joi are meeting for a sit down, and it is awkward. The ladies say they don't have an issue with each other, but Sherell has one now that Erana came back and told her that Joi was talking about her husband listing off bad business and shady and all this type of stuff, right? Well, Joi says she never used the word shady, and producers cut to the scene with Joi and Erana, and then with what Erana came back to tell Sherell. Now, yes, I've already said this before, Erana was being messy from bringing back this bone. That we can all agree. And yes, Joi technically didn't use the word shady. What she actually said was that there were selfish decisions made and that there was manipulation. To me, shady sums it up pretty well, because Erana said it was specific to the business side of things. Even though Joi is saying to Sherell that she didn't use that word, Joi does say in her confessional that Sherell's husband was selfish and inconsiderate, and at that point, the MFer was shady. So why didn't you have that energy for Sherell when you were sitting in her face? Why were you making it a point that you didn't use the word shady? Because now you're saying in the confessional, while you didn't use that word shady initially, you do think he's shady. So why couldn't you have said exactly that, what you said in your confessional, to Sherell? It's giving mini winter. I've said this before. Why do you have so much energy in that confessional, in the safety of that confessional, and not when the woman is standing right there or sitting right there in front of you? Anyway, Sherell wants to know what the issue is, and Joi says that she thinks Black should be present because Joi knew him before Sherell. She goes on to say that the band had the opportunity to be extremely amazing, but out of selfish decisions after the tour, Black used himself as leverage to force certain changes to be made. Joi clarifies in her confessional that about a month before the tour, 2 members left the band and they auditioned for 2 new members. Everything was great when the 2 new members came. They went and did this tour and they did a fantastic job, and apparently the band Mambo Sauce is now known because of the efforts specifically of those 2 new members. I had no idea who this band was, but maybe that's just me. Maybe you do and I don't, and that's not my business. Black was the rapper, Joi was the singer, everything was going well, but Black wanted to bring the old 2 members back after the tour and gave an ultimatum, I'm guessing to the label or whoever. He apparently gave an ultimatum saying that he'd leave if they couldn't come back. Now, I'm guessing that they weren't going to just become a bigger band, and it actually meant that the 2 newbies were then going to be, I guess, fired from the band. Anyway, Joi and Sherell argue a little, and Joi wants to know what the issue is for Sherell with her personally. Sherell says if they're going to be around each other, she can't have someone saying things or the things that Erana said Joi said about her husband. Joi says perhaps things got lost in translation, and Sherell says okay, she just needed clarity because she doesn't play about her husband, so she needs to talk to Erana. Again, Joi, you didn't have the same energy. You had another opportunity there, and instead you threw Erana under a bus and said that things were lost in translation. No, they weren't. You know you meant that her husband was shady, and you know, in fact, that shady wasn't the worst thing that could have been said. You said worse when describing him, but we'll get to that. Joi tells us in her confessional, you know, these confessional gangsters, that the meeting was pointless and Sherell's clarity is none of her concern. Careful. Sherell looks like she will bite. Okay? She's a lot of bark, but I think that lady will bite. Allegedly. Jamie is meeting with a therapist with little Jamie, and Jamie talks about how much they bump heads and how it almost became physical recently. Dr. Cunningham, fantastic by the way, is digging into the events that led up to the blow up, and little Jamie and Jamie talk about what happened. The therapist pulls Jamie up on the way that he handles conflict with his children and how he has to learn to hold back his anger to stop blowing up and going from 0 to 100. You want different, you got to do different. Yes! Come on, Dr. Cunningham. Dr. Cunningham then turns to Lil Jamie and asks what he needs from his dad to make him feel like he can be a better person. Lil Jamie says that he wants Jamie to trust that he's growing up, but it's going to be a while before he gets to where he feels like he made it. Dr. Cunningham tells Lil Jamie that the work starts with him in being consistent, accountable, honest, and real. Lil Jamie tells us in his confessional that he's been told that his whole life, but he was able to receive it because of the way Dr. Cunningham said it to him. Again, one of the many benefits of therapy is that not only is there a person just listening to you, but that they can tell you things in a way that you're more likely to receive than if it's the same people, your family, your partner, whoever. Like, the same people telling you the same stuff, it's going to go in one ear, out the other. A therapist who's actually listening to you, who is an expert in their field and is giving you these tools or this advice, you're way more likely to receive it. So yeah, I'm glad that it got through to Lil Jamie. I think Dr. Cunningham is fantastic. Dr. Cunningham wants Jamie to remember that change takes time, and he basically needs to give Lil Jamie a chance to actually do different, right? Lil Jamie tells the doctor that there have been times that he felt like he's worth nothing because of how Jamie talks to him. Jamie brings up the worrying text that Lil Jamie sends Erana about wanting to harm himself and says that he's done it before. Dr. Cunningham stops him to ask Lil Jamie about when the last time was that he felt that way, and Lil Jamie says about a month ago, and describes how challenging it feels to have no money and the hopelessness that he feels. Dr. Cunningham does a really great job, in my opinion, of letting Lil Jamie know that, without minimizing his feelings in that moment, that he needs to think about his own contributions to the things or the events that lead up to him feeling that way in those moments, right? So not necessarily blaming him. I thought he worded it really, really well. He wants him to think about his own contributions to the times that have made him feel so low that he would even think about harming himself, right? Dr. Cunningham tells him that his life is valuable, but that he can't want it more. Like, that Dr. Cunningham himself can't want it more as in his life more than Lil Jamie does, and that Jamie can't want it more than Lil Jamie does. And I think the way that he worded that, I think the tone that he used, just the intention that you could feel in his words, I think was so... This scene was just great. The whole scene was great. And Dr. Cunningham tells Lil Jamie that he's the reason why he's a therapist, because he knows that the potential of young men who look like him, he knows the potential of young men who look like him, and he doesn't ever want them to feel like they don't have potential or that they are not worthy. So important. So important. An alarming number of young black men, especially, but young men in general in this society too, but I want to focus on this one particular thing because I think that's kind of where Dr. Cunningham was coming from with his comments, if I can get my words together. But I think that It's so important. It's so important for young black men to know that they are worthy of a good life, that they are deserving of a good life, and that whatever box society is trying to place them in, they don't have to be in that. They don't have to be stuck in that. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be challenging. And at times it will feel like the world is against them, because society has shown time and time again that society does not value the lives of young black men. But to have advocates like Dr. Cunningham be in this field and speak to young men to let them know that they have potential, they can do so much, and that they are worthy. Ugh. Listen, there was a couple of times I was just tearing up watching this. Dr. Cunningham is great. And he actually kicks out Jamie to spend some more time with Lil Jamie one-on-one, and says that he wants Lil Jamie to call him if he ever feels low enough to harm himself again. Dr. Cunningham tells Lil Jamie that he believes in him, and to me it looked like Lil Jamie cracked a genuine smile there for the first time in a while that I've noticed. Yeah, such a touching scene. I teared up. I just thought that was so powerful. Big love and just the shout outs, because I'm not sure how else to say it, to Dr. Cunningham and all the Dr. Cunninghams in the world who are out here trying to help young people, young boys, young men, and young black men especially, to feel like they are worthy and have anything, that potential to do anything that they want to do. Ugh. We're not going to get teared up again. Okay, so at the street renaming, Quick has his friends and family who have gathered to celebrate him, and so have the cast. It's also Quick's birthday, so it's an extra big deal. And Quick reflects on how dangerous his hometown was and how he is so lucky to have made it out. So the mayor gets up on the little stage to announce that November 4th, 2022 is now Quicksilver Day, and Quick gets emotional as he takes the mic and gives a very emotional speech about wishing that his parents were here and how he wants to inspire people in Baltimore to never give up. Sherell says she's happy for Quick, but can't help but notice Erana dancing with her bob, shady, and needs to talk to her to clear things up. Here goes Sherell to Erana talking about the conversation with Joi and how Joi said she never said that black was shady. Erana says shady is the word that describes your husband. Now, I knew what Erana was trying to say, but the delivery was so wrong, because I think Erana was caught off guard that Sherell just kind of did this here, and that she didn't even have a clue that Sherell and Joi had met up. Although something tells me she did, because she was way too ready with that definition of shady. But anyway, I digress. The delivery was wrong. I understood what she was trying to say. She was trying to say that Joi was describing black in a way that can be summed up by the word shady. And she's right. I 100% agree. But of course, that's not what she said initially. So Sherell loses it, and Erana tries to explain what she meant. Erana manages to get out that she effectively summed up what Joi said about black by using that word, and tries to tell Sherell that if you look at it in the dictionary for the meaning of the word, that's what Joi was saying. I would actually go a step further to say that shady was kinder than what Joi had said. Selfish and manipulative is way worse to me than shady. But I digress again. Anyway, Joi did go on to... Sorry, just to go back. Joi did actually go on to say in her confessional that MFO was shady. So, what's the difference, sis? Back to what happened. So, Sherell is yelling at Erana that she should have said the words that Joi said. Like, that matters. And Ashley gets in the middle to try and break them up, since they were very close to each other at this point. Clifton even tries to step in and say, look, it's a private event, but Erana is determined to pull up the dictionary definition of shady, and Joi tells us in her confessional that she didn't join in because then it would have been 3 black women getting loud and rowdy at this event instead of 2. I would also like to add that it's not just that you didn't want to be 3 black women, you just didn't want to get the smoke from Sherell. Erana caught the smoke. Should she have been messy? No. Should she have gone and given back that, taken that bone, carried that bone, however you want to say it? No. Did she deserve all that energy? Absolutely not. That should have been energy for the person who actually said the things about your husband. And if she had been woman enough, in my opinion, when she was sat in your face to say what she'd been saying to Erana and what she then later on said in her confessional, then she could have really caught the smoke off you. And your anger could have been directed in the right place, Sherell. Joi, you know you're wrong for this. You know you are wrong for letting Erana take the rap. Anyway, the ladies are now screaming at each other and are being separated as Erana yells, "Nobody likes your ass anyway," which sets Sherell off even more. She is now cursing and screaming as all of the attendees are just standing around like, okay. Sherell yells, "Do you think I give an F who likes me?" And that is how the episode ended. So, ratings. I gave season 2, episode 4 of Love and Marriage DC a 9 out of 10. Now, I know it doesn't seem consistent because my least favourite castmates had way too many scenes for me. But the therapy session was so great that it just boosted this episode. It really did. There were so many resolutions, and you know I love a resolution if you've been watching my recaps. So I had to boost the rating of this one to a 9 out of 10. It had to have a high mark. So the Tylers came together to voice their concerns about little Jamie and managed to convince him to go to therapy with Jamie. And I'm so glad they did, because we got to see the sessions with the wonderful Dr. Cunningham. I cannot speak highly enough of this fantastic man. Hopefully they'll have some more of these sessions, and that will help, get father and son get into a much better place, and help little Jamie get to a much better place mentally as well. Sherell and Joi met up, and Joi left out a little too much for me, leading to some misdirected anger from Sherell. And now Sherell and Erana are yelling at the wrong place and definitely the wrong time. More on that next week. And Quicksilver was honoured with his own street and his own day in Baltimore. All round a very good episode. I gave it a 9 out of 10, but I want to know what you gave this episode out of 10. I want to know your feedback, your thoughts, your comments, your ramblings, whatever you want to tell me down in the comments or on social media or both. Tell me. I'm curious. But for now, I'll see you for the next one.